Okay, welcome everybody. A good night of Shabbos, a good night of Yontif, and as the Rebbe's bracha, Kabbalah Satira b'simcha b'pnimis. Should receive the Torah with joy and to be able to internalize it. Okay, so we are now before a very big day for Hashavuos, and the Achone of 49 days since Pesach. That's the whole purpose of coming out from Egypt, is for that. I just want to start with a very strong statement from the Rabbi that we're not only remembering, celebrating a Yontif in Jewish calendar, we're not remembering only what happened. It says Nizkorim v'nasim, it's remembered and it's happening. And every year we go out from Mitzrayim again. It says B'chol der Bodeir, and the Alter Rabbi said B'chol Yom V'yom. Every day we're going out from Mitzrayim, especially on Pesach. There is exodus from Egypt. The same thing by receiving the Torah, it says Baruch Hashem Neisen HaTorah. In the blessing we say before we learn Torah, Hashem who is giving the Torah. We don't say Natan HaTorah, I gave the Torah 3,334 years. I think it's as a number. But he's giving it now. Every day should be like new. And then it said another year say Chadoshim, Mamish new. So not only knew that it is in a higher level, every year in holiness, Malin Bakedesh. In Kedusha, we go higher and higher. So this year, Matan Torah is going to be in a much higher level, because that's every year it's in a higher level, because we're not just repeating, waiting for us, it's coming to repeat itself. Especially in Kedusha, everything going higher, especially with Matan Torah, is a much higher level. It means our whole relationship, the whole understanding of Torah has to be in a higher level. So we're going to make the focus for the desert. Matan Torah was in the desert, and the Parshas of Bamidbar. Bamidbar is desert, it's counting the Jewish people. There's another point to think, what is the connection of, even if a person thinks he's a desert, still the Torah comes there to him also. Okay, so let's get in a little bit. It says when the Eibishter came to give the Torah, Erev Shavuos, he arrived with a beautiful, beautiful chuppah. The chuppah looked like very original, like a big mountain. The size of the mountain was big enough to cover the whole Jewish nation where they are. They didn't have to squeeze into the middle. Wherever they are, they were like 12 Parshas. But the mountain is big, and he came with a chuppah. So the Jewish people were very excited. But then he tells them, like, listen, I'm giving you a choice. Either you accept the Torah, or if not, I will bury you under the mountain. The question, where is that coming from? The Jewish people came out of Mitzrayim, they knew, in order to receive the Torah. And they were so excited about receiving the Torah that they started to count the days. That's one of the main reasons why we're counting the days. Sfiras Eimer, the Korban Eimer is in the second day Pesach. We're not grieving now the Eimer. Instead, it was the excitement and the longing and the appreciation of receiving the Torah. Was so great that they were counting the days. Furthermore, when they came to Har Sinai on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, the Rosh Chodesh of Sivan, it says Ki ish echad b'leiv echad, means they were so uplifted at such a high level that they were like one person with one heart. I just think what means one person with one heart. Now they could learn three ways meaning what means like one person with one heart. One, that they all had the same opinion. So they all became like the same. That's one way of looking at it. The other way to say, no, they were completely different and disagreed with each other, but at least they managed to be in a level that to keep it to themselves. They didn't fight, they didn't argue, and they kept the peace. That's also probably the wrong shot. But I think means like one person has a body, has a head, shoulders, heart, hand, feet, different limbs, 248 limbs, and Shasagidim, 365 veins, whatever that is. And still it has one heart is pumping the blood everywhere. So everyone is unique and different and meant to be unique and different. It's not a disadvantage that we are different, but it's like a ish echad, like in one person, all the limbs are serving in one harmony to protect the person and to grow the person to become bigger and better physically, spiritually. mainly spiritual, not so much only when you're small, you work physically also. So that was they accomplished because of their preparation and refining the midas, right? The 7 times 7, they're refining the midas. They came to a level, and they came to Rosh Chodesh, they were so refined that they were able to be in an absolute unity. In other words, to see that the opposed opinion, who is the opposite of you, your chesed, his gvur, or vice versa, you see him completely as part of one body, you have a right hand and a left hand. And it doesn't enter in your mind of that's they're opposing each other. The other way around, each one is helping the other. The only way to become one person if you have all the limbs. So that's all the revelations that they had, and they had the revelation by Kriyas Yamsuf. That's the Surah Shifcha Layam, that a maidservant saw by Kriyas Yamsuf, by the splitting of the sea, more high level of godliness than the prophets. And even so, come and they said, everything Hashem said, we'll hear, we'll do. And then it comes the day before, he comes with a mountain, where they were and threatening them, if you're not going to accept it, I'm going to bury you under it. What kind of a language is that? Where are you coming from? Who is doubting it? Everybody is so happy to excited. When somebody is excited to once they're coming with threatening, I think maybe it's ruining the whole atmosphere. It's ruining. So Chassidus explains that what is the mountain? Mountain is not the physical mountain. This doesn't make a difference as far as Chassidus is concerned. The mountain is a tremendous love from the Eibishter. A revelation of godliness came to them that swept them up from the feet completely. That they felt that we must be completely one with the Eibishter, and if not, it's not life. When you have such appreciation of such a high level of connection to the Eibishter, of life in such a quality, you feel if we're not accepting the Torah, if we're not going to become one, we are dead. Because everything is relative, right? Compared to what their appreciation, what they have. So the Eibishter is the one who gave such a revelation of Abba Rabbi with tremendous love to them. That awakened in them a tremendous love for the Eibishter. That is completely sucked them up, that they were, that's the only life they could have is with Torah mitzvahs. Okay. And that explains why the Gemara says that they had an excuse till Purim. There's an excuse if they didn't do the mitzvah. Say you accepted it. They accepted under duress. Is it simple per duress? It came with a mountain over. Had no choice. But in a deeper level, you have such a revelation of godliness. Of course, if we had no choice, we completely got swallowed up by you. But in a normal situation, how could I cannot overcome my challenges. Called upon him. So that's what we're saying is that. So what is the point? That's what's the revelation of godliness. Not let's say. So that Chassidus says that's a revelation of godliness, of a tremendous love for the Eden, and therefore they were completely. So that there's only kind of life is the Torah mitzvah's life. Be one with the Eibishter. Nothing less than that. If less than that, it's not life. So what is the purpose of that? What wasn't enough from before? Now, let's say something, just another question. The Jewish people said, Nase v'nishma. We will do, and then we will hear. So we're saying, what does it mean? Because you have to hear first. You don't know what to do if you don't hear. That means we will do no matter what you're going to tell us, and then we will try to understand it also. But we are completely not depending, our commitment, our acceptance is completely not dependent if you'll understand, if it will make sense to us or not. We're going to do it anyway. So Nase, we will do it no matter what, once you tell us what to do. And then we'll try to understand. If you understand, is good. If not understanding, is even better. So here, we're saying this like on a selfless, that they will do even if they won't understand. Let's assume not only if they won't understand, let's say they will do it even if they'll understand that it doesn't make sense. But similarly, we could ask a question, what's the big thing? Of course, we are creation of God, and He's the creator. So a creation can never understand the creator. So thank God He gave us some mitzvahs that He brought and we could understand. But the mitzvahs that we don't understand, there's nothing wrong with them. That's the normal should be that we don't understand what the creator wants from us. So it's logically that we should do it even if you don't understand. I'll give a simple example. You go to a big doctor and he tells you to do some kind of medicine, exercise or whatever. I say, but I don't understand. We're going to teach you now the whole thing. It's logical to listen to the doctor who has studied medicine for many years and is considered a good doctor and has good track record, right? His CV is good. And people are very happy with him and everybody said that he helped them. So it makes logical that you should listen to the doctor even if you don't understand. So for sure, but the Eibishter, and a doctor could still make mistakes. But the Eibishter cannot make mistakes. So it's very logical. So what is the nullification here that we said, and therefore Hashem gave them, the Malachim gave them two crowns, one echad neged nasa, echad neged nishma. What's the big thing about it? It's common sense. And when they were excited by getting the Torah mitzvahs for the 49 days, and the Jewish people always learn Torah, they knew there's going to be some mitzvah, logical mitzvahs, and some will be either semi-logical, some will be chukim. So what's happening here? What is he coming with mountains? Either physical mountains threatening them, or with a spiritual mountain that swallow them up. And what is the point of that? And what is the idea of saying Nasa? Saying Nasa Kedim Nishma shows that that's why they got two crowns. Even for the Nishma, because they're doing it because Nasa will do it even if you don't understand. Big deal. Who are we that if we don't understand to take ourselves seriously if we don't understand? Yes, maybe it's the nature of a person that if he doesn't understand something, he takes himself serious. But it's a joke. Like I said, by doctor, you don't ask him so many questions. He could explain you in short. You explain if not, it's vital good. So, when we're talking about giving the Torah, what is special about Matan Torah? What happened here? As we said, this learning Torah never stopped from our forefathers. Avram, Zokan, Yeshiva, Yitzchak was learning his whole life. Yaakov was learning Torah his whole life. They were big lomdim, big gainim. Very big, to a point that they understood all the spiritual aspect. How did they know what the mitzvahs are going to be? It says they knew it from the spiritual levels, what's happening in heavens, high level, they understood it down here. And it says that when Mashiach will come, we will know the halachas, the Rebbe says in Tanya, in the Gersa Kodesh, we will know what to do because we will understand in the spiritual levels what's happening from Torah mitzvahs. We'll know what to do, what is kosher, what is not kosher. So, question, was it necessary to have that mountain over them? What would happen if they wouldn't have that mountain over them? Let's get a simple question. Let's say Hashem would come and they will be very excited and give the Torah. The fact that they went to sleep, again, Chassidus explains, it wasn't a negative, careless, I was sleeping, I was tired. But the Rabbi explains it and proves it interesting, right? And they went to sleep because they felt that the sleeping would be a better hachone for receiving the Torah. So somebody says simply, we're going to be rested out, be able to listen to understand properly. But the 10 Commandments are not so much too hard to remember to understand. Especially if say most of them, all of it they knew before already. So why did they go to sleep? So it says that most of the Nevi'im had a prophecy when they were sleeping. So the Jewish people wanted to have the preparation for that revelation, and sleeping in the Shema in a higher level will make a higher and a deeper and a greater preparation for receiving the Torah. And then they will wake up and they'll come to receive the Torah. They'll come with a deeper achonah. So the whole thing was meant well. In other words, almost like saying they had a meeting before that. How should we prepare for Matan? Tomorrow is going to be Matan Torah. The Rabbi came with the mountain and they said, Nishma, no, tomorrow morning is going to be Kabbalah. They had a meeting, how to do it. How are we going to prepare ourselves? So what are the options? One option is to sit and learn a whole night. Second option is to go to sleep, but not because they were to rest. It also could be a reason, but that's being shot on a deeper level. So this idea that preparing yourself while you're sleeping is in a much deeper level, because when you're sleeping, your neshama is basically going up to heaven. So in Shemayim is a much deeper level of appreciation of Torah than in the body. So therefore, the preparation over there is a much better one. It's known that many great people, right, used to go to sleep with a question and wake up with an answer. Even a book called Chassidus Jewish Shemayim, question answer from heaven. There's nothing contradiction to the idea of Torah Shemayim. I'm not going to go there now. In other words, a person is misyagea b'Torah, his neshama goes up into Gan Eden, she'evas chaim lekol chai, she's growing life in a higher level, and she has giluim in Torah, revelations of questions and answers of what she couldn't come before. In other words, the sleeping is not a descent, because it's an ascent in a higher level, and for the next day to be a better day and a higher day. So that was the decision to go to sleep. And therefore, that explains why the mosquitoes didn't say in the desert to sleep in the Hashavuos. It's too hot. Should be maybe they had air conditioning in the clouds, but it looks that there was a special sweet sleeping. Why was it so special, the sweet sleeping? So normally somebody will say, especially for a cynic, say because you have to be up, and then your sleeping is much better. But the Rabbi explains, no. And also another miracle is that the mosquitoes did not bite him that night. I don't understand why there were mosquitoes. There shouldn't be mosquitoes never there. The clouds protect them from everything else, should protect them from the mosquitoes. But that it says, the Medrash says that the mosquitoes didn't bother them. So we had two unique things, the Rabbi explained. Because the sleeping was such a holy spiritual sleeping, and it accomplished what they wanted. They went to the higher level. Therefore, the sleeping was a very sweet sleeping, because a very high level, the highest level, after the finishing counting of the 49 days, and they were preparing for Matan Torah, there was the highest level of sleeping, and the highest level of preparation for Matan Torah, and therefore the mosquitoes didn't touch them. Not Hashem made just a mistake that they should sleep better. Because it was such a spiritual level, therefore the mosquitoes didn't have a place over there. So then the question is, if they were so well meant, so why was Hashem upset? Hashem said, Matar Basik, Veinish, Korosi, Veinein. I came and there's nobody there. I called and nobody answers. What was the Eibishter upset? And to a point that we have to be awake enough for thousands of years to fix up what they went to sleep. If it was so good at sleeping, then we'll find a reason why it wasn't 100%. But it was basically meant well and accomplished well. Why the mosquitoes didn't touch them, and they slept very good because of the spiritual experience that they had. So the Rabbi explains that the whole idea of Torah is not going into comprehending the spiritual levels, is to affect the physical world. And not only because they're affecting the physical world, you reach a higher level. It's an infinitely higher idea completely. In other words, you could learn the idea of Matan Torah in two ways. Yeah. One thing that is to refine yourself and elevate yourself in a higher level and even higher. And then whatever is more refining and more elevating you, it's a higher level, it's better. Always saying no. You're going to do what the Eibishter wants. If it's going to be refined and high, it's good, very good. If not, weiter good, also good. You place your selfishness, your refinement and elevation and spiritual experience and appreciating godliness, when it comes to fulfill what the Eibishter wants, doesn't come in the equation. Thank God, the Rabbi made it most of the time, 99.99, whatever you want to say, ultimately in everything, it goes together. When you do what the Rabbi wants, ultimately you'll get the refinement also. But in a certain point, in an absolute, not in a certain, in an absolute way, have to be able to completely be beyond it completely, not to care completely, but your refinement. But that's really the whole story of Avram bringing Yitzchak to the Akedah, we endanger the whole concept of refinement of the knowledge of God was put in danger, because the idea is as high and as great you're in the refinement, infinitely higher and higher and higher, doesn't come in touching if you're doing what the Eibishter wants. So the idea is to come to the idea of doing what the Eibishter wants. That's the idea here, not the idea of the refinement. And for that, the Eibishter wants to affect the physical world, even you're paying for that a price. Because if the Eibishter would want us spiritually a high level, would keep the neshamas in Gan Eden and give us the Torah over there. So not only that when you're done here, you reach a higher level because you're more challenges and you reach a higher level. That's also true. But I'm saying bigger than that, it's not only the higher level to reach a higher level. The main thing is that through coming down here, you're doing what the Eibishter wants, who's completely the whole idea of higher level, lower level doesn't come into equation. As it says, it's better 1 hour. 1 hour could be in 1 minute of doing tshuva and good deeds in this world from the whole Chayei Olam Haba. Why? So one shot you could say that the Rabbi said, if you'll do a mitzvah down here, tshuva in this world, I'll take you to a higher level than called Chayei Olam Haba, a higher level of spirituality, a higher level of godliness, a higher level of appreciation. So, but that's not the ultimate pshat. This could be also true, but the main thing is because when you're doing tshuva by you're doing what the Eibishter want. What the Eibishter is wanting is the essence of the Eibishter, that it's infinitely high, not even more than infinitely higher. It's an insult to him. Then the highest revelation of Kol Chayei Olam Haba. Revelation comparison to essence. Relation to essence is nothing. Revelation is only a ray, it's a revelation. And yes, it could be the revelation of godliness is infinite. And if we would have a revelation of that, we would be very high, very spiritual. But that's not, the Eibishter wants something much deeper than that. The complete sacrifice of do what the Eibishter wants. Now, really, it's impossible to sacrifice everything, all the revelation, to do what the Eibishter wants. That's not possible. Why not? Maybe I don't know if you explained that one before. Because the richness of spirituality is so powerful that it's beyond more than you could handle, to a point that they died from the revelation. And everyone could die. So in other words, it captures you that you cannot go beyond that. How could you go beyond that? So now comes a very interesting thing, that there could be two obstacles in doing exactly what the Eibishter wants. One is that you have such a revelation of godliness in doing something. Let's, for example, take a simple example. You're learning and you're mamish involved in this revelation of unbelievable understanding and appreciation of godliness, mamish, something that you feel passionate, the tainug, the eineg of the pleasure of that, you have place on nefesh almost. But then comes, you have to do a physical mitzvah. And nobody else can do it. You have to put on tefillin. You have to stop everything for God and to put on the tefillin. Not because in the tefillin you have a higher revelation. As it says, mevatlen talmud Torah lemikra Megillah. To reading the Megillah, just the words, the simple story. It doesn't have that richness, spirituality of what he wanted. So you have to stop it. How could you do it? You can't. It's so powerful. How could you sacrifice so much? And that seems to you that's everything. That and you know, if you're staying with that, you'll go higher and deeper. Even if you won't have klais and nefesh, you won't die. That's one way of looking at it. So how could you overcome that? Then a second idea I would say, as the Rabbi is giving us challenges, that no matter how committed you are to the Eibishter, he's making a challenge that you will not be able to overcome it. Why? In order to bring you to a place what new level now you cannot overcome, to bring you to a higher level. It's not just to take you to a higher level, be able to overcome. That's one idea. To bring you to, he will lift you up to a place that no matter how much you committed, no matter if you go to your deepest level of commitment, even your Denasaked, you will not be able to overcome. Why? Because Hashem said that, now I will pick you up higher. In other words, he brings you to your limit that no matter how high you will go, you will not be able to overcome the challenges. And now he's taking you and picking you up to that level so you'll be able to overcome. Why are you able to overcome? Not because you are able to overcome, because he's picking you up to a place completely beyond your deepest level of commitment, beyond the highest level of accepting the yoke of the Eibishter, beyond Nasa ben Ishmael. And therefore, one of the ideas that says about Matan Torah that the Jewish people, the conversion was there. Conversion means you're a new Metzias, you're a new being, coming from a non-Jew to a Jew. Gershon is Gaia, a convert that converts, it's like a cotton Chanel, it's like a newborn child. Another thing it says by Matan Torah, and Alter Rebbe says that when we say, when you say the bracha, Hashem chose us, where did Hashem choose us? By Matan Torah. But before Matan Torah, we've already considered the children of the Eibishter. And children means your essence is one with the Eibishter. That's not enough. You're choosing the Eibishter, that's still not enough to overcome all the challenges. Because by the end of the day, you're a person, you cannot go out of yourself completely. You could go deeper and deeper and deeper, but ultimately there could be always something beyond you. But Hashem chose us means he gave us, he connected us in a level completely beyond the idea of father and son. But there's not the time now to go into that and explain it in length. But the idea of that we are Am HaNivchor, so we are, let's say we are servant of the Eibishter, we are children of the Eibishter, and we are the chosen people. To explain that the chosen people, that we are the chosen by the Eibishter, is a deeper connection with the Eibishter is taking us. He chose us. It means not what we are elevating. And to a place that we are much higher from what we were before. And not only higher, completely in a different idea, we'll then be able to overcome. And that is what's happening in history, as we mentioned before, that takes you to a higher level and ultimately reveal that level that the Eibishter took us. That's what the Eibishter brought the mountain upon of our head, that he's forcing us. In other words, our commitment will never be able to overcome all the challenges. But the challenges are coming from a very high level. Why? In order we should have to come. It says, if not that the Eibishter is helping you, you wouldn't be able to overcome. It means that the challenge is such a one that only with the help of the Eibishter, God, that he's picking us up, that we're able to overcome it. So we have to realize that Matan Torah with the Eibishter is choosing us in a deeper level, in a higher level, and it's more revealed by us. And every idea for connection with the Eibishter comes in an infinite higher level, not only infinite, beyond infinity. It comes to what we call the essence of connection with the Eibishter, that he's taking us where he could only take us, where we could not get it. Therefore, it's very important to be very, very happy, and therefore the mitzvah to eat nicely on Hashavuos, that even the body should realize that that is the best, biggest thing what's happening. I just want to conclude that the Friedrich Rabbi said that on Hashavuos, in the Parshas, I think, it's like Rosh Hashanah doing tkiyas when bloody shofar and Yom Kippur, that the Eibishter is mevalvel this Satan, he's silence, he's confusing the Satan. They cannot complete black too much. Same thing on Hashavuos. Anything to do with learning Torah is completely any opposition to that, any challenge to that is the Eibishter is suppressing it, or confusing him. That we could have the keiches to take a commitment, a connection, practically in learning more. In quantity and in quality, but the main thing is the connection of learning Torah, the simcha, the joy of learning Torah, becoming so la reise kutshe with the Eibishter Torah is one. We Kabbalas Torah b'simcha b'pnimis, and we should have the Kabbalas Torah chadasha meet the Teitz, which will be coming of Mashiach. Now, mamash, and Hashavuos in Beis Hamikdash, even before Hashavuos, now mamash. Good Shabbos, a good Yontef, Kabbalah Satira B'Simcha B'Pnimis, Niske Zen, mit dem Reben, Abuf Gash Midol Lamata, V'Rui Galena.